New York is a fantastic city on the east coast of the USA. It's on lots of islands. It has 5 boroughs. These are Queens, the Bronx, Brooklyn, Staten Island, and Manhattan, the most famous borough of New York City. The Brooklyn Bridge is a very famous bridge. It goes from Brooklyn to Manhattan Island. There are lots of very tall buildings in New York, like the Empire State Building. It's 381 meters tall, and there are 102 floors. Manhattan is very crowded and busy. People from all around the world live in New York. This is Chinatown. Chinatown is a very exciting part of New York. Lots of Chinese people live there. There are lots of Chinese shops and restaurants in Chinatown. In the restaurants, you can eat lovely food, like rice with chicken or duck. Lots of the cooks are from China. Central Park is a big park in the middle of New York City. The park is nearly 150 years old and is very large. It is 341 hectares. In the winter, people like ice skating there. It's very quiet and beautiful. Times Square is very different. It's busy and noisy. There are cinemas, theatres, and lots of shops. After a long day in New York, a yellow taxi is a great way to go home to bed.
New York has many names. The Big Apple, Gotham, the city that never sleeps. That is because it is the largest and most populated city in the United States. It is also one of the most important centers for commerce and business in the world, and the gateway to the North American continent. The Statue of Liberty, a symbol of freedom, is located on Liberty Island. It was given as a gift to the United States from the French, in honor of their friendship established during the French Revolution. Brooklyn Bridge, built in the second part of the 19th century, connects Manhattan with Brooklyn, one of New York's 5 boroughs. From here you can see the Manhattan skyline, the most famous skyline in the world. And this is the World Trade Center, another important symbol of New York. The Twin Towers were located here. They were destroyed on the 11th of September 2001. Now the National September 11 Memorial and Museum commemorate the 2,977 victims of the terrorist attack. The new World Trade Center is the tallest skyscraper in New York. But in this city, there are lots of other famous skyscrapers, like the Empire State Building and the Chrysler Building. Located in Wall Street, the New York Stock Exchange is one of the most important financial centers in the world. Here stands the Wall Street Bull, also called the Bowling Green Bull, a bronze sculpture by the Sicilian artist Arturo di Modica. This is Chinatown. It is full of shops and restaurants that represent almost every province of mainland China and Hong Kong, Indonesian, Malaysian, Thai, and Vietnamese. Here in Chinatown, you'll feel as though you've entered a different continent. Chinatown is big and borders Little Italy, which is located in Lower Manhattan. It is a very popular area with visitors in New York. Some of the Italian population live here, especially those who came through Ellis Island to New York. Between 1880 and 1820, over 4 million Italians entered the USA. No other ethnic group moved to America in such great numbers in such a short time. Most Italian immigrants settled in the cities where they could find work. They chose those areas where they could feel most comfortable and speak their own language amongst other Italians. This led to the formation of very definite ethnic communities like Little Italy. Greenwich Village is a historical site. It has inspired bohemians and artists for almost a century. Now it's one of the most expensive and exclusive neighborhoods in New York. The New York subway opened in 1904. It was not the first subway in the United States. The Boston subway opened before it, in 1897. But the New York subway soon became the largest American system. It now has 26 lines. The United Nations Visitor Center is a complex designed by Brazilian architect Oscar Niemeyer. It is the headquarters of the United Nations along the East River. Remember that when you enter the building, you will be in international territory. This site does not belong to just one country, but to all the countries that have joined the organization. Currently, the United Nations has 193 member states. Here we are in Manhattan, the richest of the 5 boroughs of the city. The Fifth Avenue is full of great shops. You also get great views of other buildings, especially the Empire State Building. The Tiffany shop, one of the most famous jewelers in the world, is also in this street. We are still in Manhattan, in Columbus Circle. It is the point from which all official distances from New York City are measured. Here you find a great variety of shops and, even more than in other parts of Manhattan, some amazing scenery. Stop and eat at a hot dog cart, because New York City's street food is as much an icon as its landmarks, such as the Empire State Building or Central Park. In Central Park, a large park in the heart of the city, you can take a walk, a boat ride in the lake, or skate on the Woolman Rink in the east part of the park. Times Square is one of the most typical places in New York because there are people everywhere at all hours. This place epitomizes the hustle and bustle of New York City. I would give the greatest sunset in the world for one sight of New York's skyline, particularly when one can't see the details, just the shapes and the thought that made them. The sky over New York and the will of man made visible.